to you from Israel and the Galilee. It's Thursday, I think, what, the 4th? Or the 5th? 4th, that's it. It's the 4th, and of June, and it's 7:06 in the morning. I'm a little early today. Iran attacked Kuwait last night, hit the airport. Now, maybe they did that because there's an American base there and that airport's being used to move things back and forth. In other words, bring anti-missile missiles in and troops and stuff like that. So they could have been doing it to affect the American base, right? Sure they could. That could be legitimate if you want to call that legitimate. And at the same time, Trump is saying that the deal is moving forward and making progress. At the same time that Trump is saying that, the Iranians are saying that no progress has been made. And I don't think there's ever going to be progress, okay? The House of Representatives passed by a small margin the War Powers Act thing, which means Trump would have to get permission from the Congress to proceed with the war. It did not pass in the Senate, so it goes from the House now, it goes to the Senate, and they could revise it and kick it around back and forth. They could vote against it, or, I don't know what'll happen yet. If they do, if the House and the Senate agree on something, and they both pass it, it still doesn't mean a lot because Trump could veto it. They got to go get it at a 2/3 level. They didn't have a 2/3 level. I think the House got it by about 6 seats. They got it through, nothing like that. So Trump could just veto it and it dies. So I don't think, it may not pass in the Senate, number one, okay? The Senate and the House may disagree as to which version or the rewrites, so they may never be able to agree, or if they do, then it got to pass with a super high majority, which already it's failing in the House. And Trump will just veto it. The fact that it concerns Trump directly has no bearing on his ability to veto it. Okay? He can do that. So it's interesting in the news, and it makes people, Iran, we can't do anything. But it's pretty far away. But you see what they can do is impeach Trump. Do they need a real reason to impeach Trump? Yes and no. I don't think Trump's anywhere near impeachment over this, though. I don't think it. He could be afraid of it, but I don't think it's a risk. So Trump's behavior is definitely weird, okay? He's obviously lying. He keeps telling us he's working with Iran, and the demands that Iran wants are outrageous. Iran is trying to save Hezbollah in Lebanon. I'm really scared of that. Because if there's a fight with Israel and Iran, Hezbollah joins in and it drains resources from Israel. We got to use more Iron Dome missiles, okay? We got to put more attention on them. We can't just focus on Iran. So they're very concerned about that, and to manipulate America to break relations with Israel and other countries to get mad at Israel. They turn around and say, "Oh, because Israel's attacking Lebanon and Iran, we're going to shut the Persian Gulf. We're going to shut the Red Sea and make everybody in the world pay a bad price, a high price for the lousy Israelis, and turn hatred towards Israel." Well, you see, that's of course the nations go for that because they're satanic and they hate Israel. But it doesn't do, it has no logic to it. Okay. So that's what's basically happening. We're going to go through more details. That just gives you the overview of what we're going to be covering today. Plus, we're going to get into the translations pretty good. I do have a copy of Codex Sinaticus now, and I'll explain how I got it and what's going on, and making changes with the AI on translating, and in my opinion of the New Testament is becoming more and more like we really don't have such a bad New Testament. But I'll discuss that with you. Maybe that's just because I'm missing the whole thing. I don't know. But we'll cover all that. I'm going to go jump into the live stream and take a look at what we're doing and how it's going, and the sound and the picture. Let's see. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, moderators. I'm going to close the volume down so we don't hear it. All right. I'm going to put my post up now, which is going to take not minutes, seconds. I just got to go through this and make sure we don't get typos. And it looks like we do not have typos. So I will pin this up, and it seems to get pinned, and people are coming in and looking good, so we'll shut this off. Okay, I'm going to do some praise, being Old Testament, New Testament site, and I have no control over who joins or doesn't join the praise. So there is no God like Jehovah. 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 There is no Messiah like Yeshua. 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 Okay. I've got a few prayer requests today, not a lot, but some, and toss requests, but One of them I think is still in my WhatsApp. I haven't recorded it, so let me take a look at what that is. Uh, okay. So for MF, Mike Foxtrot MF, okay, I'll pray and you guys can agree with it. My Heavenly Father, Jehovah B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, I pray for MF, Mike Foxtrot. I pray that this person is able to get a good job soon and quickly, an all-around good job, and in the meantime, have peace, joy, calm, and rest. B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, and you can agree with that if you're a believer. Okay, now let's see, there was a couple of other prayers. I want to get them done so I don't forget. Okay, we're being asked for, okay, this is for JK and GK plus everyone they live in the same house with. So for JK, Jack Kilo, and GK, Girl Kilo, and for everyone who lives in the same house as them, we want to do a endless tossed salad and whole enchilada for JK and GK, okay? And then we have the same request for NM, Normandy Mike, and EM, Echo Mike. Also, endless salad and whole enchilada tossing and spiritual warfare. Okay. We have okay, this is a healing prayer. My Heavenly Father, Jehovah, I pray to you, B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, for healing for PC, Papa Charlie, for healing from pain, leg and hip. Okay, so for PC, B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, PC, you want healing for pain in the leg and the hip. Okay? All right. That is our prayer request. What the Kuwait Minister of Defense said. Iran launched 17 UAVs and 13 ballistic missiles towards Kuwait. This was yesterday. Now that is, yeah, there's a real ceasefire, all right. However, it just seems to be in Trump's mind. Okay, President Trump, when asked whether Netanyahu had misled him and dragged him into a war with Iran, I was the one that started it. I don't want to bore anybody, but I was the one who started it because you cannot allow them to obtain nuclear weapons. Without me, the state of Israel would not exist today. Trump said, without me, the state of Israel would not exist today. Okay? Now, Remember that thing in the scripture where the guy's clothes were shining and glowing in the sun, and they were saying he's a god, and he didn't deny it. Okay, yeah, that this is like Trump now. Trump is saying that because of him, the state of Israel exists today. So you can, I think, safely expect to see doom and gloom on Trump and possibly the country, but doom and gloom on Trump, I expect you're going to see now. He's holding himself out on a pretty high order right now. Okay, and he's doing it to the Israelis. He's trying to mislead them. Speaking of Iran, we have a very remarkable, unusual, not common event going on in Iran that is not being done by man. Swarm of Moroccan locusts is wreaking havoc upon eastern Iran's agricultural sector, according to Iranian media reports. Okay, so I don't know how well their agriculture is doing with their water shortage. I don't think it's doing too well. And now they've got locusts eating their crops. Not a coincidence. Iran's Navy targeted a U.S. destroyer in the Gulf of Oman, and CENTCOM said they're lying. I don't know who to believe, to be honest with you. Actually, footage is floating around the internet on this, so it's probably real. There's supposedly footage, so it would be real. So they did target a U.S. destroyer. Now, if the CENTCOM is denying it, it could mean that the destroyer got damaged or something. I don't know, guys. Okay? But CENTCOM doesn't belly up to the bar and tell you the truth about their ships getting damaged, the warships. Okay. So, probably true. And if it got out, then Trump would have more pressure from the military and the family and the military to retaliate. If Israel's aggressions against Beirut, that's the capital of Lebanon, continue, our armed forces are fully prepared to resume the war and target objectives inside Israel. This is coming from Iran, the same Iran that just got the locusts. Communication with the Americans has not been cut off, Iran talking, and messages regarding the need to stop aggressions against Beirut have been exchanged, but nevertheless, no tangible progress has been made in the negotiations. See, it's right where it was 2-3 months ago. This is what you guys got to really understand. Trump is just barking at the moon with this, and he's afraid of something, and he's not talking about what that is, but he's behaving awfully weird. The returning to the negotiation table is conditional on securing the rights of the Iranian nation, ending the war in Lebanon, and stopping tensions in the region. Well, when they say the rights, securing the rights of the Iranian nation, that would mean they have a right for nuclear material, they have a right to build all the ballistic missiles they want, and they have a right to control the Persian Gulf. That's how they see things. And charge tolls. So if Trump wants to go around and deceive people, oh, we're close to a deal, he's a little bit off. I think Congress could get him on or I think it's a section 25 that he doesn't have his wits about him. Unless he's doing this as some form of subterfuge, we don't see it. I don't know. The Iranians go on and say the Americans have clearly felt Iran's power and capability in this war over the past 40 days. That's a pretty antagonistic comment. These are official Iran statements, from big mucky mucks in Iran. Okay, the House measure, the vote passed 215 to 208. 4 Republicans went over to the Democrat. So there's a difference of 7 votes. But that's not 2/3. Let me tell you what 2/3 would be. Two-thirds would be 279, 280 votes. And they got like 215, so there's, 65 votes short of a 2/3. That's light years away, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And it's encouraging Iran to push the war harder. These knuckleheads don't understand that. But it's just driving them to go harder. Hold on a minute. What the heck? Oh, somebody's telling me they got some algorithm to help me with social media. Just send me some money and I'll tell you they don't have it. If they had an algorithm to help websites, why would they be sending spam out? They'd be building websites and making millions of dollars themselves. Like people sell you a system to make money in the stock market on commodities and futures and stuff like that. If they had a good system, why would they sell it? And the reason they give you is, well, if they had a better system, they'd sell that one. No, because if they had a better system, they just wouldn't sell it. They'd be making so many millions of dollars, they wouldn't want anybody to know anything. Okay. So I don't think they're going to curtail Trump's ability to go to war with Iran, but it's driving the Iranians on. Now, the problem with the ultra Orthodox Haredi in Israel is getting worse and worse. It's not stopping, it's escalating. And I think it's escalating because they know Netanyahu's afraid to have the police do anything to them because they'll just turn on him even harder and quicker. So it's saying dozens of ultra Orthodox extremists smashed windows, caused property damage while trying to break into Supreme Court Deputy Chief Justice Noam Solberg, his house, during a riot Wednesday. Today's Thursday, so it was yesterday, during the night, in the latest such violent demonstration targeting law enforcement over the arrest of Haredi draft dodgers. See, they thrive with Netanyahu. We got to get rid of this Netanyahu guy. He's got to go. They got to vote him out. Images from the Alon Shavut settlement showed shattered windows, broken flower pots by the front door of the house, a car in the garage with a smashed windshield, and a small Israeli flag with a swastika in place of the Star of David. So people are really sick and tired of them in Israel, and Netanyahu is the one that's trying to shore them up because he needs the votes. You know, I mean, let's say if there was hypothetically a Ku Klux Klan in Israel and they gave Netanyahu 15 votes, would he support them too? I don't know. I really don't know. Probably not, but you know, these people are absurd. You know. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. I want to make this very clear. An attack on Beirut means Iran will return to war. Why are they so hung up on Beirut? Because the Hezbollah, their last stronghold, their last safe place, their last place to go, and these are terrorist murderers that shoot missiles at daycare centers, kindergartens, schools, houses, anything, right? And those are war crimes. Okay, nobody does anything when Iran does war crimes because it's Satan's chosen people, you know. So All right.
It's going to be 92, 94 today.
I'll get her in shortly. Okay. So that's what's good. Hey, could you set the air conditioning in that room to make sure it blows cold?
Where, in this dining room?
Yeah, because I have trouble getting that to go.
Yes, you should have told me earlier.
I'm sorry, I didn't think of it. So I can cool the dogs off later. Um, so,
75?
huh?
75?
No, set it to 23.
No, I've got it in Fahrenheit. Or it is
Oh,
in Fahrenheit.
no, lower than 75, 72, 73.
It's on 72.
Okay, thank you.
Just touch the red button, nothing else.
Right. I didn't know you could put them in Fahrenheit. Okay. The state of the world is prophecy about Elam being destroyed is going to be fulfilled. That's in Jeremiah 46, verse 28. Okay. We'll go into translations. Let me go jump into the live stream and see if we got any questions or prayer requests or anything like that. But that's essentially the news. It's just building up every day. Iran's attacking and attacking and attacking, and Trump is, oh, we're gonna have a deal. We're gonna have a deal. You know, it's just getting sickening. You know, it just gets more and more sickening with him. You know. He comes out with a crack. He says the ceasefire in the Middle East is basically you just tone down the fighting. Well, you know. I'm sure that if tensions keep rising, which they are, that Iran is going to do their version of shutting down the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea with the Houthis, and the shutting down of the and Somalia is gonna join in with the Houthis. So Somalia is up in the Red Sea a bunch. So if the ships manage to get past the Houthis, then they got to deal with Somalia. See, what they're looking for, like Trump, is people that own these ships that cost, you know, a big oil tanker, 100, 150, 250 million dollars for the empty boat is nothing. Okay, they spend that. Okay, but let's run some numbers on the load. A big oil tanker goes up to 2 million barrels. Let's drop it to 1 million barrel. Okay, so let's run a number. Watch, see how much money's at stake here. So we got 1 million barrels, and let's say the oil is $95. So that's about where it is, I think now. Times 95, and that gives you $95 million, and you probably have another 150 at least. So you got $250 million going down to Davy Jones's locker. You know, right? And what is the insurance payout on the crew? I don't know if they have insurance, but they would probably have at least $250,000 a person to their survivors, I would assume. Basing that just as picking a figure, I think that's what the American soldiers are insured for by the government. So if you get killed in combat, or probably if you get killed in an accident in the military, you know, that's military fault, you get, your survivors get $250,000. They give them 30 days to move off the base if they lived on the base, because they don't want the other families mourning and stuff like that, right? So they probably give them that money rather quickly, not like a private insurance company where you're going to have to get a lawyer and futz around with them for 3 to 9 months or something like that. But you know, you probably get it in 2 weeks or something. So then they put the money in the bank, and the bank's going to hold it for 10 days because they're going to say this is an irregular amount. But because it's a government check, maybe they don't hold it. They may just clear it, you know, because they're not going to get in trouble with the government if it's a government check. Okay, so they probably clear it quicker. Then they got to get a moving company, and they got to find a place to live, and they got to figure out where they're going to go, and that's it. Now, it could be a lot of different things. It could be a woman by herself, and you know, the guy was, you know, 21 years old or 22, and she's 19 or 20, and she just moves back with her parents, and that's that. Or they could have 4 kids, and she's 34, and then she's got to go find the place. You know, it's, and how long is the money gonna last? You know. She's probably going to go through about $50,000 rather rapidly, moving, getting settled in, furniture, dealing with a car. And what's the 200,000 gonna give her? Depends. If she's prudent and she works, which she may not be able to do with 4 kids, but if she works, she might only, you know, chip away at 20,000 a year on that, right? So it'll help her out for 10 years, boost the standard of living. If she's not working, she's probably got no more than 4 years in there. That's it. Then what does she do? I don't know what the number is. Let's take a quick look, because there's going to probably be a good amount of dead soldiers pretty soon. So let's find out. How much money does the United States military pay an enlisted serviceman if he gets killed in the line of duty? How much do they pay to the survivors? And does it come all at one time? Oh, they get several different benefits. Okay, let's read this. There's a death gratuity. Oh, I'm wrong. It's only $100,000. Uh, it's intended to be paid very quickly to the designated beneficiary Mexican. That would be to get him to move off the base quick. Okay. So they get that. They get uh, that comes in a lump sum. Then there's more. Let's see. Most active duty members carry service members group life insurance. Maximum coverage is generally 500,000 if the member elected the full amount. This is separate from the 100,000. Oh, so it's really higher. Most of them have it. Okay, the surviving spouse and eligible children also receive dependents and indemnity compensation from the Veterans Administration. the basic surviving spouse rate is about $16.99 a month, with additional amount possible for children and certain other circumstances. So, okay, so they're giving her money, so she could get, if I would guess, $16.99. If she has 4 children, she's probably up at a good 2,500 a month or more, maybe 3,000. Um, so now we get a total. A typical service member, the $100,000 death gratuity up to a $500,000 from the insurance they buy. Um, Monthly payment, and they could get possibly Social Security benefits. So it's possible a surviving spouse could get 600,000 up front, plus continuing monthly benefits for years afterward, depending on family circumstances. Um, do the officers, families, or survivors receive more money, like from a colonel or a major that got killed in the line of duty? And how much is it typically for these $500,000 insurance premiums per year? Most of the soldiers, I think, buy it. I guess if you're dealing with a young guy or a young gal and they have no family and their parents are well off, maybe they don't buy it. I don't know. If they get the $500,000 insurance, that's paid as a lump sum. Yeah, the officers could come up with more money. Uh, you didn't tell me how much the monthly premium is on the $500,000 insurance. It's $26 a month. That means they're like giving it away. So they have it taken out of their monthly. So I would say most of them, if they get killed, the survivors are going to get a $600,000 lump payment, and plus they'll get a monthly. If it's just a spouse, it'd be about $1,700 a month. And the more kids, the more it would go up. I would say, even with 2 kids, it might be 3,000 a month. It might be that high. So there you have it. Do they get medical benefits? I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I don't have any idea. Probably they get them for a while. I don't know. But yeah, that's what they get. So yeah, that changes it. So if the surviving spouse, let's say a woman with 2 kids, is smart, what she would do with the money is buy herself a house, a townhouse, a condo, something, so there's no rent to pay. So she has a roof over her head without making rent payments or mortgage payments. That's the first thing to do. The next thing to do is get furniture that's going to last for 50 or 100 years. Solid wood treated furniture, good furniture, so doesn't have to buy furniture anymore. Go out and buy a really good bed. Beds don't last forever, but you could get a bed that'll probably go 15, 25 years if you get a good one. One of those Sealy top of the line or something like that. And so if she has her car paid off, she has her furniture paid off, and she has her home paid off, or he, well, where does that leave him? Well, it leaves him with being able to live probably on the stipend or close to being able to live on the stipend they give him. Could one person live on $1,700 a month without any bills for car payments or home payments or rent? Maybe. Be hard. It depends on what they like to do and eat, but they might have to tap into their funds, $600 a month or something like that, so they could go a long time, and they could still work. They get this money if they work. That's interesting, That's interesting. But they have a dead spouse on their hands. So if this war lights up, there's going to be a lot of that going on, I'm afraid. And the war is going to light up. Okay, so I was just curious about that. I think it was interesting to see what the deal is. All right, let's continue. So I've been improving things. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about. Yeah, I have Codex Sinaticus, and I'll start showing it to you now. I got it from a company called Logos. They it's an online app, and I pay 17 shekels a month, I believe, which is about $6. So it's cheap, and you have a lot of access. Oh gosh, it moved on me, a stinking thing. Okay, these iPads are so troublesome. Oh, they're horrible. You just touch it and you lose it. And it's such junk they build. I'm telling you. Such sensitivity is stupid. Now I'm stuck here. I can't even get out of where I'm at. Let me go to work on this. Hold on. Their app is not good at all with an iPad. It is a real challenge dealing with this thing. Okay, it's probably made for something else, maybe Android or Windows or something. See, I'm in here now, and it got me in a place I don't want to be just from tapping the screen by mistake, and I can't even figure out how to get out of the screen I'm in without rebooting the computer. This is a real piece of junk app, guarantee you. Junk personified. It's programmed by people that I just, there's no excuse for garbage like this, but the app is pure trash, okay? But it can be made to work. Let me see if I can make it come back. Let's try something else. Wait. I think I know how to get there. Maybe this will work. It worked. Oh, what a piece of junk, I'm telling you. Okay, this is what you see. The stuff with the funny color on this side, that's the Sinaticus, which is the Old and New Testament in Old Greek, okay? So I can put that into my app, my AI app, there's a few ways I could do it, okay? What you can't do is cut and paste the page, because this app is a piece of junk, okay? So you can't do that, okay? When you try to do it, and maybe you can see it on the side, and you try to get this and say, oh, did it just work? Wait a minute, it actually worked? I see one of those bars, yeah, it did, but it worked. Let's see if it'll do. Wow, that's a breakthrough. Did one of you guys pray for me or something? No, now I lost it. Wait. It's still there, isn't it? Yeah. But I don't see a prompt telling me. Let me see if I can make it do that. See, it's supposed to pop up something that says copy. Oh, wait. Maybe I took the whole thing. Let's see. I'll put it in. Let me test it to see what it looks like here. If I got just one verse of the whole thing. No, it didn't do much. No, it didn't copy the whole thing. No, it's really a piece of junk. Is it possible that it would work better if I wasn't using an iPad, if I was using a real computer or an Apple computer? Probably, because iPads aren't real. You know, they're just like phones or something. It's a problem. It's not. Okay, so there's another way to do it verse by verse. The other way I can do it is, which I have been using, and it's a little bit more expeditious, is I've got a few verses on the page here at the same time. I could do a snapshot of the page, and that gives me about 3 verses, or I can cut and paste verse by verse. So this is burdensome, you know? It is. But it gives me a Sinaticus, okay? And the AI can't go into Sinaticus, open it, and cut and paste it. So I feed it, and it gets a perfect source. Then I've been training it to translate without any church references. So it was using Lydell and Scott, which I didn't want it using anymore because that's a church publication. Any church publication is just going to keep hovering over the same King James junk, and you're never going to get the real meaning. So I didn't want it to do that. So I did do some translations this morning. There's another one. Okay, let me explain a few things to you. To buy the Codex Sinaticus, you can buy it from, I think it's Hendrickson, has a facsimile. But the pages are this big. They're like a painting. Is that bad? No, it's not bad. It's, you put the book on a table, you sit there with your iPad, you hold it up, or you just basically can use a camera. There got to be a way. I'd have to futz around with what the best way to do it is, but you snapshot the page and you feed it. You could feed a picture to AI, it's fine with that. You could snapshot a page, you could take a photo of the page. You can't cut and paste it because it's real world. It's paper in a book, you know. The thing weighs about 30, 40 pounds. Yeah. It's $1,000, $999. To get it delivered in Israel would be, there's an 18% VAT tax. So, hey, did I put a VAT tax on books? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's find out. They may not. Does Israel put a VAT tax on educational books or books in general when you import them from another country? No. No, it doesn't. Okay, so with the brokerage fees and stuff like that, it's not going to be 18%. It'll be about 20%. So you're going to have a $200 tax charge. So you're talking about $1,200, and then you're going to have shipping on something like that is probably going to be $150, 200. So you've got about $1,400. So if anybody's interested in contributing a hard copy of the Codex Sinaticus, it's about $1,400. Should do it. And then I could use the iPad and just click, capture the whole page, and then just take it, and it's in the iPad and the app's in the iPad. So then I just move it from my photo section. I hold it down, it gets copy, I hit copy, and then I put it in the AI program and hit paste, and it has it, and it works with it just fine as a photo. It doesn't care. It's no problem. That gets me off the internet, and I don't have the tedium of this and stuff like that. Okay, and it's Old and New Testament. I don't know if anybody wants to kick in for that. I would just throw it out there if you want to. If anybody's interested, there would be 1,400, and then I don't think that I would have any trouble doing it with the iPad. I really doubt it. Um, I can't imagine. Um, Let me take a test. I'll just take a picture here. Hold on. And see what I get. I don't. I'll see how big of an image and what I get. Okay, I'll do the camera and that kind of thing. Let's open the camera and let me open it up. No, I have no trouble whatsoever. No, no, easy, steezy, absolutely easy. No, this will do it. No problem. I just I have to futz around with the light, which means I could do it outdoors under the patio with this light and no glare on a table. Or I could do it in a room on a table where there's sufficient light. That's all. Um, Easy steezy. And then I think with the pages like that, I probably would get. Hey, let's find out. Let's ask it. It knows. Okay. Regarding the Codex, that Hendrickson sells a reproduction of, that's a very large, heavy book. On one page of the book, how much do they usually put? Like a chapter, an eighth of a chapter, or a fourth? Can you give me an idea? So I'm thinking if I take a photo using the iPad of one page, I'm trying to figure out how many verses of a chapter I would get. And I know you can't be precise, but you can get an estimate. All right, let's see what we get. Okay, it's telling me the original Codex has 4 columns per page. Let me think through the content density to estimate verses per page. Page size is 13.5 by 16.5 inches. Oh, that's nothing. That's like a MacBook Pro screen. That's easy. Um, 828 pages total. Whew. 4 narrow columns per page in the New Testament, 3 columns in some Old Testament sections. Each column has roughly 48 to 55 lines of Greek text. So a full page, 4 columns times 50. Typical New Testament verse is 20 to 25 Greek words. Uh, so per column, 8 to 12 verses, per full page, roughly 30 to 45 verses from the New Testament. That's not bad. That's going to cover one page, is going to do most chapters. 30 to 45 verses is you're always going to find chapters that are bigger, but not that many. Now, there's no copyright on this, so you can do all kinds of stuff with it. You can photograph it and then compile it yourself. There's no copyrights. This thing's, millennium old. More than, it's like 1,600 years old or something. Um, all right. So, yeah, this thing could work. I could use it. It's not that big. I thought it was 36 inches or something. No, that's not that big. It's a book that's going to come out like this. Roughly like that. Like the screen of a good sized computer, not a great big one, a regular folding laptop computer. That kind of thing. Like a good sized one. That's all. That's not that bad. Very easy to photograph it with the iPad. Actually, I could figure out a way to make it stand up and I could sit down because I don't want to be standing hours after hours. That's rough for the old man. So I could prop it up and then just point it at it, calculate the correct distance, put a ruler down or a piece of tape so I know exactly the line, put a tape, then I can put the iPad right on the tape, click it, and I'll get a perfect picture every time. That would be nice, okay? And it's Old and New Testament. So the Codex Vaticanus doesn't have the whole New Testament. It doesn't do much with that, but this one does. So that's the deal. That's the. Um, there's another source to buy it. Let me ask it again. Hold on. Uh, regarding obtaining a Codex. I know about Hendrickson, their $999 uh, reproduction, and I know about Logos with the app. And you gave me the name of another company that has an app. How would I get a copy of this from them? Would it be digital, or how does that work, and how much does it cost? You gave me the name yesterday of another company similar to Logos. The name started, I think, with ASC. I can't remember the rest of it. And it was some online operation that had these codexes. Oh, yeah, it's called Accordance. That's right. He found it. Okay, it's called AccordanceBible.com. Here's what they offer: high resolution images of the Codex Sinaticus with which can be viewed in parallel with any Greek Bible text. You get actual facsimile page images, not just transcribed text. See, I could get all my money back from Logos. I have a 30-day free trial. Not that I'm worried that much about the $6, but I could get it all back and switch to these guys. Let's see. The Codex Sinaticus images module is $9.90. Okay. They also sell the Greek transcription searchable text as a separate module. There's also a separate Old Testament Septuagint image collection, facsimile images viewable in parallel with any Old Testament text. You download the Accordance app on your iPad, purchase the module, and it downloads to the app. Everything is offline capable once downloaded, which means you don't have a subscription. On iOS, there's pinch and zoom with good resolution for the image module. So for your purposes, viewing actual manuscript page images on iPad, Accordance at $9.90 is a much more, well, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so that's my project for today, after I get done. But I did translate some verses. We're going to do Bible study. So I'm just trying to share the experience from going through. I know we're making history here. Believe me, we're making history, okay? Now, did we make history when we started doing wholesale tossing around the world of the leaders and all that? Yeah, but not really, because they did it years ago, but it hadn't been done probably in 2,000 years. So we're letting Satan know what's coming. All right. So we're making progress, and now I'll have an easier time cut and pasting it, and this Logos thing is really awkward to use. The other one I understand works better with iPads, Apple products. Okay, very good. Now let's go to some Bible work. So I hope you enjoyed that. I still would love to get a hard copy of this book, because now I got it and I'm off the internet. Now, what about the translating? How could you do the translation without the internet? Well, not easily. We'd have to get some people here that know Greek. Okay? Now, there happens to be a whole country of people that know Greek. Really? The name of the place is called Greece. So it wouldn't be that hard. You'd have to get a manual translator, but it's up to you guys if anybody's interested in backing this. I think I could, as long as we have an internet and electricity, I could get by, okay? With the cheap stuff that I could absolutely fund out of pocket without any problem. Okay, Malachi 3:19. Okay. This was done with a better translation, pulling the text from Logos, putting it into the AI, and having it work in a more secular fashion. Now, let me see if I can. Well, anyway, let's go. For behold, a day is coming. No, this is starting in Malachi 3, verse 1. Sorry. Behold, a day is coming that burns like a furnace, and it will devour them and all those of foreign stock. Are you listening to this? All those of foreign stock. That ain't in the King James. I'm not even done with the verse yet, but this is so outstanding. Let's read it in the King James, Malachi 3:19. Okay, that I could just do without much to do. Okay, Malachi 3:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. All right, now I'm going to take a break for a minute. We're going to come back and deal with this and what the implications of this are. And this is really wild. I'm going to get her in. Hey, Beulah? Beulah? Beulah, bite. Beulah, bite. All right. Get the dogs in. All right. All right, get a dog in. Okay, so the foreign stock. Do you know how different this is? Now, this Codex Sinaticus, what it is, again, one more time, is the Septuagint. Using the scraps that survived all the copies of the Septuagint, which goes back to the year 250 BC. So it was done by the rabbis 250 years, roughly, before Yeshua came to Israel. They usually say came to earth, right? But why say earth? Say Haaretz, came to the land of Israel. That's where he was. He didn't go to Europe or anything. He stayed in Israel. Okay, so They have twisted this. So I'll read the King James again. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Jehovah of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. This is a massive difference. Let's dig into what actually happened in the translation. Watch. In the wrong place. So Malachi 3:1. For behold, a day is coming that burns like a furnace, which is reminding us of the word furnace is reminding us of Zechariah 12 verse 6, where the two witnesses burn them up. Okay. And it will devour them, which you could call burn, but devour is similar. And all those of foreign stock and all those who practice lawlessness will be like dry straw, and the day that is coming will ignite them, says Jehovah the Almighty. Now it's saying Almighty. How about that? I like Almighty. Everybody who likes Almighty, raise your hand. Just kidding. I can't see your hands. The Almighty, and there shall not remain of them root or shoot. Okay, let me give this to my AI and have it break down the foreign stock, and we'll go through it together. Um, This is that great translation you did for me yesterday of Malachi 3, verse 1, using the secular sources when we were testing out how to translate them with just secular sources. It's a fantastic translation. But I need you to expound upon foreign stock and give me some derivations as to how you came to that word setting in English. Oh, it's Malachi 3:1. I thought I said 3:1. I might have said 1. Okay. It's Malachi 3:1. Oh, it's verse 319 in the Hebrew. Sorry, I don't know. The numbers, when you go to Septuagint, the chapter verse numbers get messed up. Literally, those of another birth or race or stock. See, when you do it out of the Hebrew, this is what it's telling me. What you get for those words is arrogant or proud ones. Combining it, you get doers of wickedness. So you get arrogant and proud ones that do wicked. Those are your Satan bots. But when you do it in the older, by a millennium plus, an older version that doesn't have the bias of the rabbis, because we know the rabbis twist it. Those of another birth or stock, well, we have a lot of people here that hate us, that protest in the street, that go to mosques, that are from another stock, right? And it goes on. Okay, hang on a minute. I want to find the directions I gave it yesterday. So it's an interesting thing. So it's those that say they're Jews but they're not. That must be what it's talking about. See, how the heck are you going to ever get these things unless you have it like this? I don't know. Revelation 13:1. And I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads, and upon their horns 10 royal diadems. That's a crown, I believe. And upon its heads a title of defamation. Upon its head a title of defamation. It's a little different than blasphemy. Maybe calling himself the chief god or something would be blasphemy, but it's pretty interesting. Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and its feet as a bear's, and its mouth as the mouth of lions, and the dragon gave to it his power and his throne and his great authority. So the throne is the seat. What do you do with the throne? You sit on it, right? Okay, right? He's sitting on the throne. All right. So that's we're used to that, okay? And now I can tell you, when you do the King James with this, from, there was no, okay, let me explain. The Septuagint in 250 BC, before Yeshua, was not including the New Testament, because you can't have a New Testament. It starts when Yeshua started, okay? So the difference between the Codex Sinaticus and the Greek New Testament isn't that radical, but it's changed. They've twisted it enough where you can't trust the King James or the Wycliffe or the Bishop's Bible or the Tyndale, or you can't trust it. And one of its heads having mouth and okay, now we're in verse 3. And one of its heads as having been slaughtered to death. That explains it much better. But that would be a country, wouldn't it? I guess. And the death wound, slaughtered to death, and the death wound of death was healed, and the whole earth marveled after the beast. See, I like the clarity. Let's go to verse 4. And they did homage. What is homage? Doing something to honor something else, an action that honors something else, okay? And they did homage to the dragon because he gave authority to the beast. And they did homage to the beast, saying, who is like the beast, and who is able to go to war with it? Isn't this clear and clean? And there was given to it a mouth speaking great things, and defamation's plural. And there was given to it to do what it wills for 42 months. It's pretty good translation. I don't really have problems with it. I had to do it another way. Verse 1, Revelation 13:1. And I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads, and upon their horns 10 royal diadems, and upon its heads a title of defamation. That's a little different, a title of defamation. So that probably means he's calling himself King, God of Gods or something. Understand? Because he holds himself out to be higher than any other god. So the title of defamation, a defamatory title, would probably be that. Make sense? Okay. Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and his feet as a bear's, and his mouth as the mouth of lions. And the dragon gave to it his power and his throne and great authority. Now, John may have seen an animal with these attributes, but these attributes are describing how the beast operates. A lion got a big mouth and just gobbles up. Who does the lion go after first? The young. Likes to get the young or the very old, right? And one of its heads as having been slaughtered to death. And the death wound of death. That's okay. It gets us there though. The death wound of death. You see, we're taking it from another language and translating it into our language. Now, when we got to do this in Mandarin and Cantonese and Russian and Spanish and French, it's going to be a trick. I mean, we need people that really know what they're doing, I guess. Well, I certainly don't. Wound of death was healed, and the whole earth marveled after the beast. Verse 4. And they did homage to the dragon because he gave authority to the beast, and they did homage to the beast, saying, who is like the beast and who is able to war with it. And there was given a mouth speaking great things and defamations, and there was given to it to do what it wills for 42 months, and it opened its mouth in defamations towards God, defaming God. Blasphemy does seem to also be a decent word. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's very, very similar. Towards God, to defame him. In other words, he's mocking God. He's saying, he's not the God, I'm the God, I'm more powerful than him. That's different than blasphemy. You understand? Related, similar, but different. This has got more clarity. And his tent, those encamping in the sky. Encamping in the sky. To define. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. The sky would mean angels. I don't know what else it would mean. I got the thing using now is classical Greek semantic range as used in secular contemporary sources. Josephus, the Egyptian papyri, Stephanus, no Liddell Scott, that no church translation traditions, bleeding in, no theological overlay. For the Hebrew side, okay, so I'm going to change this, hold on. think I got it. Okay. Let me file this someplace where I'm not going to lose it. Okay. I'll be a moment. I'm just filing this away here. So what you got to basically do when you get AI doing it the way you want to do it, you got to feed the directions into it every day, so it remembers exactly how you're going to do it. It tells you it remembers it and it doesn't. Yeah, nice, right? Okay. This is the approach you took that I really like. These are your own words. It's digesting it. So when you get a set of directions that this thing really likes, you got to cut and paste it out and then feed it in every day, so it refreshes it. This thing's really, it's got a thing that goes like this. It's thinking. It's thinking. Oh, what happened? All right, it's telling me to do exactly what I did. Okay, I saved these uh, methodologies you used by cut and pasting it into two different places in the Bible. And when I start working with you every day, I'll just bring it out, cut and paste it in, and then we'll proceed from there. That sounds like a good deal for you. It's thinking again. See, the trick here is getting AI to do what you want it to do. It says works for me. It's a practical workaround given that I can't carry detailed procedures, memory across conversations. That way we pick it up right where we left. Okay. All right. We got this up. Now let's go back to some other work I put up, some translations. See, when you preach the word, he does signs following, but you got to preach the word. If you're preaching the other gospel, there ain't going to be signs following. Why would he do that? Then he would be giving credibility to the other gospel. All right, this is coming from the Sinaticus, Codex Sinaticus, Greek, translated by secular. Oh, I did that already with you, sorry. All right, so what can we do next? Let's do 2 Peter 3. From Salkinson's Hebrew New Testament. How about that? That ought to be cool. But I have that changed a little bit. It's not going on Gesenius, it's going more secular. Because Gesenius is too churched. I need to get the text out for this guy here. All right, so I gotta go to 2 Peter, which is after 1 Peter 3, 10. I got this in the right place? Yeah. I'll just do a cut and paste of the thing. A snapshot, rather. I'll feed it a few verses on the page. Okay, do these verses on the page with our criteria for the Hebrew New Testament. This will take a few seconds is all. This is 2 Peter 3, verses 10 to 12. Okay, it wants that criteria again. No problem. So it constantly wants it for some reason. I don't know. See, we ultimately will have to get somebody to get us our own AI, I think, or get a way more advanced one that can do these things. Okay, you got the criteria and translated it, but it's giving me too much work here. I gotta get him just to, okay. Please just give me the English translation laid out like a Bible with chapter and verse. It's taking too long. That should have taken a few seconds. What's wrong now? Oh, here it comes. But the day of the Lord will arrive like a thief in the night. In watch the heavens, like a thief in the night. Oh, in which the heavens will rush past with a roaring crash, and the constituent elements will be dissolved in fierce heat, and the earth and the works built upon it will be laid here. That's a little different. See, God says he's a consuming fire. And this is when he comes down to earth and then everything gets burned up. He's a consuming fire. Okay, verse 11, 2 Peter 3:11. Since all these things are thus being dissolved, what kind of people ought you to be conducting yourselves with integrity and sound judgment, anticipating and pressing forward towards the arrival of the day of God, on account of which the heavens being set ablaze be dissolved, and the constituent elements melting in fervent heat will give way. That's the end of the world. That's when Father God Jehovah comes down. We meet him in the air. The whole universe burns up. He's a consuming fire, like a consuming fire. He says, not a consuming fire. Okay. What else do we wish to cover? Okay, let me get some Hebrew New Testament up on Revelation 2. It's a little tedious, but it does work. Do these verses using same criteria for Hebrew New Testament? Just do the verses that you could read on this snapshot. It's working. Okay, Revelation 2, starting in 12. This is coming from Salkinson's Hebrew New Testament, translated with secular sources of ancient Hebrew or very, very old sources for translation. I'm not doing Gesenius and Strong's because they're churchianity. And to the messenger of the assembly in Pergamos, there the messenger probably I'm biting my tongue. Is this a messenger that's an angel or not? Probably an angel. Notice he says the assembly in Pergamos. That's not the church. The church is incorrect word. An assembly, a gathering together of those that are called out from among. In Pergamos, not Pergamum, Pergamos. Pergamos is in Cyprus, up at North Cyprus on the east by the water. Coincidentally, North Cyprus, or the northern section of Cyprus, belongs to Turkey, which is a Muslim majority country. Pergamum, which is the modern translations that are erroneous, refer to instead of Pergamos, is in Turkey proper. In any event, both of these cities are not in Israel, never will be, and never were. Okay? It's the one by Cyprus. It's talking about what we call Cyprus right now, northeastern Cyprus by the water. Pergamos, write these things, says he who holds the sharp double-edged blade. Couldn't you also say sword? I think so. I know your record and where you have taken up residence, where the adversary's throne stands. He's telling you it's Satan's throne. Satan in Revelation 13 gives his throne to the beast, right? Here it's telling you, I know your record and where you have taken up residence, where the adversary, Satan, adversary's throne stands. So Satan's throne, or his seat, is in Pergamum, or Pergamos rather, Pergamos, not Pergamum, Pergamos, northeast Cyprus. Okay. And you hold firmly to my name, and did not renounce my allegiance, even in the days when Antipas, my faithful witness, was killed among you. Where the adversary has his dwelling. So Satan lives in Pergamos. That's his seat. That's his dwelling. And he gives his authority to the beast and the seat. So the beast is in Pergamos in northeast Cyprus, not Israel. They say Jerusalem. That's because they like taking all the bad things, pinning them on Israel, and the good things on the church. It's not correct. It says the two witnesses are killed where Yeshua was crucified, but Yeshua was not crucified in Jerusalem. It says in your Bible he was crucified outside the gates, outside of Jerusalem. He may likely have been crucified inside the Roman compound, which was considered land belonging to Rome. Like when the Chinese embassy China opens up an embassy in Washington, D.C., they get a piece of land. This is the Chinese embassy. That land is considered Chinese property, right? Right. They basically did that to the Romans because the Romans had idols in their fort area and did things that we would never want to discuss here or anywhere else. It's too debaucherous, right? So the rabbis were all upset, so they just gave them the land so the land wouldn't be in Israel. Yeah, this is your land, Rome. It's not Israel. It's not Jerusalem. And that is very likely where they may have crucified him. Maybe they were afraid that people would take him down from the crucifix if they didn't do it. So, okay. Now we're in verse 14 of Revelation 2. But I have a few charges against you because you have... Oh, no, that's another thing. Okay. Interesting, right? But again, you can see this is one of those instances where it's going to line up with the King James. Sometimes it lines up, but many times it doesn't. I would say there's probably at least 400, 500, 600, 800 places in the New Testament that need changing for clarity, and in the Old Testament probably 2,000. I don't know exact numbers, but I'm just taking a shot. I could be way off, but let's get into Revelation 1:7 and see how we can translate that. Okay, do these verses using same criteria, of course, and these verses are coming from the Hebrew New Testament. It's a working. I'm not so sure it could do the whole book of Jeremiah in 10 or 15 minutes. I think it'd probably be more like a half hour. But that's still well within workable, you know. Even if it took 2 or 3 hours, it would be workable. Still running. It had about 5 verses, I think, on the page. Now I have the page with large text. If I shrink it, it'll get more in there, but then I have trouble seeing it. All right, here it goes. Look, he is arriving with the clouds, and every eye will observe him, including those who ran him through, and all the clans of the land. You see, now let's start understanding this. Ran him through. They took a spear and put it in his side, and water and blood came out. That's the running him through, right? Okay. The Jews, well, it would be the Romans, but I believe it means the Jews. And then it says, and all the, maybe it's the Romans because it says, and all the clans of the land. No, it's all the Jews that are maybe not in Israel. And the clans of the land. You see, this is so precise. A clan is a family. It's not a tribe. Because it's the clans in Zechariah 12, verse 10, that was seeing mourning. There's only 2 tribes in Israel, which is Judah and Levi. The clans of the land, I think I said yesterday, I made a mistake, I was tired. I said something about Levi and Judah. No, where Judah's Levites were not in there. That's okay. I made a mistake. Sorry, forgive me. B'Shem Yeshua Mashiach. And all the clans of the land will beat their chest over him. So it is confirmed. All right, let's go into Zechariah 12 and translate it and read it like this and see how exciting it is, okay? Now I'm in, no, if I do Zechariah 12, I gotta go into the, I could do it, okay. I've got to go into the Sinaticus. Whoops, wrong page. I could get into Sinaticus, okay. It's just so cumbersome to use it. Let's see, I got to close this. And I've got to open this. And close this tile, it says, okay. Didn't close, did it? Let's try that again. Yeah, I'll be happy to download it from that other site. This is, every time I get into it, I got trouble making it work. I mean, it doesn't lock up or freeze, it just doesn't do good. Okay, so it's still here. So let's Why does it? Let's try if I click this, it goes away. I don't know. Maybe, let's see. Well, no, that's not working. Let me click. See, this is just junk programming on their part. It's just a garbage app. Because you struggle to make it work. You don't know what it's going to work. Well, I could just change. No, I don't want to change the book. No. That didn't work. Let's click that and see if it works now. All right, we're gonna go, Zechariah, Zechariah 12. Let's start with 6. See if I get anywhere with this. Yeah, I did. Lo and behold. Oh, but it didn't give me the rest of the book. Stupid thing. Yeah, I'll be happy to get rid of this. What did it do on the right hand side? What am I looking at here? I don't know. Let me try the copy thing if it will work. I don't know. Maybe I can cut and paste. I think. See if it worked. No, it didn't work. I'm gonna try again. Yeah, this thing's junky. Gotta get rid of it. All right. No, I don't get a. Shoot, I had it. Stupid thing. This junk. Try it again. Try again. You can't make any progress with this logos thing. It's such junk. Pierce, I got it. Let's see. No, I don't. All right. Gotta be a way I get it. Let's think. I gotta get rid of this thing on the right hand side. Oh, now I think I can get it. All right. Possibility. Oh, I gotta go down here to. This is too obtuse to use. Well, boy, I don't know if I can cut and paste it. Let's try again. Don't know. Let's give it another shot. No, it's just giving me. No, I don't want this. Okay. I'll tell it to ignore that. All right. I'll try one more time. Let me think. What are the other ways of getting this text out of there? Well, I only know how to do it this way. Snapshot it. That's it. That's a junky program. It's a good work, but the program's a piece of junk. Okay, a real piece of trash. All right. With the criteria I gave you recently, there we go. Here it is with the secular translation from Codex Sinaticus. Okay. In that day I will make the leaders of Judah, that's the judges, the two witnesses, like a fiery furnace among wood, and like a flame of fire among stubble. Well, who do you know has fire come out of their mouth? They shall consume all the surrounding peoples on the right and on the left. Don't lose sight of the fact that Jehovah says he's like a consuming fire, and his sons, Elijah and Enoch, the two witnesses, are using fire to burn the enemies up. Okay, don't lose sight of that. Okay, because it's showing you who these sons of his are. Okay. They shall consume all the surrounding people on the right and on the left, and Jerusalem shall again dwell in her own place in Jerusalem. It that's not so. It's remained still in her own place. It's a little subtlety difference. Now it gives me a different rendering that's way more literal. Let's read it. In that day I shall make the leaders of Judah, that's who's here now, well, Judah and Levi, but the land is called Judah. He refers to the land here as Judah and Jerusalem. So we're okay here. Its timing wise is good, right on. I shall make the leaders of Judah as a furnace of fire among wood, and as a torch of fire among stubble, and they shall consume all the peoples around about, those are the ones surrounding us and putting us in the siege, on the right and on the left, and Jerusalem shall yet be inhabited in her own place in Jerusalem. Okay, let's see if we can get verse 10 out of this thing here. Let's see how we do this. Let's see, I think I go hit X here. That does nothing. I go in here and let me change the verse number to, let's go to 10. All right. I got it. And we'll cut and paste it. We'll snapshot it, then we'll cut and paste it. What is going on with this thing again? Okay, let me clean that out and start again. Okay, now translate this verse according to the criteria we've been using recently this morning. Why it's not loading? What's wrong? Let's close this out. And what's wrong? Something's, oh, there it goes. Okay. No, it didn't get it. Let's see if I can make this come in. Okay, translate the Zechariah 12 verse 10. I just sent it to you. Something's not right. It's not responding. Is it working? Yeah, I got it working now. No, what happened here? Didn't what text it said. Hold on. Should be right there. What's going on? I guess I didn't get a good cut and paste. Now we do. All right. See the tedium. So it might be nice to have the big book and just snapshot it. But you got to turn the pages from chapter to chapter. So this is really a task for a bunch of people to do. It's not just for one. Should get it now. All right, it's taking a little bit of time. I'm going to take a break. Right back. Hello. You want to come in with me, Mama Shayla? Mama Shayla, come. Boy, Mommy, boy. She's not coming. She still respects this as chief in the office room, even though they've been gone for a long time. I guess she really liked them. Okay. It's giving me King James. What? Then I'm not reading what I'm copying. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Oh, it's right. It's given to me from King James. This thing is a real piece of junk. I just downloaded it yesterday afternoon. I spent a lot of time figuring it out, but it's given me King James. So now I've got to change the book. And we'll get it. Okay. Split. File. I don't even know how to do it. This is just junk on the run, man. Don't get logos. It's garbage. Let's see if I can change the book. I don't know how. See, it's extremely unintuitive. It does things and you don't know how to undo them. And it makes no sense. And you can't find controls when you want them. Uh, you hit X's to close things and they don't close. Um, it's just terrible. I mean, it's really bad. I should probably not bother doing it anymore. Yeah, it's not workable. You spend 2/3, 3/4 of your time trying to make the app behave and do the things it's supposed to do, and it doesn't do that. So it's just a waste of time. Uh, it's a piece of junk, and I'll get my money back, so I don't care. Let's take a look at the live stream, see what's going on. If I got anything that needs dealing with. I don't see anybody having anything that I need to deal with. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is just let this be where we'll stop today, and I'll just download that uh, the Codex Sinaticus from the other place and see if we can make that work better, because this is just horrible. I mean, it's just, I don't know how to take it out of King James and put it back into Sinaticus. I have no idea. Then it has cut and paste that doesn't work. And, it's just, it could be because I'm using an Apple product, but it's probably just an immature program that is junk. Maybe it's designed to run on a Windows computer only, and then everything else is going to be junk, or maybe an Android phone. I don't know, but I'm not very interested in dancing this dance with it anymore. It's junk. It doesn't work. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this today. I'm giving you the progress. We're moving ahead every day. We're getting better criteria to translate, and we're getting better raw text. So the two ingredients here are really what we're going after. A good source, the source material, the words of the scripture, the source material, and good criteria for translation. Now, mind you, we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg maybe here. Because to do this, we're going to have to go into about 12 languages at least. Now, the AIs usually do about 90 languages. But, I don't understand if the translation is working good or bad. So we need to get people that understand it. It's a job and a half, guys. This is going to require at least a room full of people, maybe more than that. It's not simple to do this. It's really going to take a big effort from the Lord. If He does it, I don't know. Maybe He'll just give us a manuscript. Maybe Apostle John has one that's good. He could have an Old Testament and parchments from the New Testament, at least the ones he wrote, which would be the book of John, the little epistles of John and Revelation. That would be good, real darn good, you know. And he might have an Old Testament along with books that are missing that we don't have. And then we could just put that into a couple of different languages. It's still a big job, guys. It's a big job. And this is going to spread before the nations are destroyed and before daughter of Babylon goes. So the advantage of having a big book is, like I say, I could manually turn it, right? Just flip pages and say, okay. So if I'm in Deuteronomy and I want to go to Malachi, I know if it's 800 pages, I'm going to have to grab the whole book, an inch or so, flip it, and then look, where I'm at, and then and get about a whole chapter in there, and then feed it in, and then it'll reproduce it, and then you got to cut and paste it and compile it. Now, if I have the big book, or I maybe could do it with this new app for $9.90, that's just good for me teaching you guys while we go through several scriptures a day and clarify them. That's not, I can't do it without a room full of people. You need a lot of different people, and that's above and beyond the abilities of you guys to support a work like that with your offerings. You can't do that, I don't believe. So that's not where I'm going with this. Where I'm going with this is we got to pray to the Lord for the resources to do this. Okay, let me phrase it a different way. You have not because you ask not. Have we been asking for a good, clean translation? Maybe not. Okay, we'll fix that. My Heavenly Father, Jehovah, B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, I pray that you would provide me with the resources to do, and the ability and the energy and the strength and the eyesight and everything required to do a good translation of the scriptures if it's needed, unless you're going to deliver one to us intact and we don't know about it. So if we have to make one, I pray you equip me with all I need to do to make it, and get me the right people to work with me, and the right computers and everything, and the right AI and all of that, and the right tools, and the right distribution methods. And we're not going to sell it, so we're not worried about selling it, because that's making merchandise out of God's people. We're just giving it away. But I pray that it has to be a very accurate, good work, so we can preach the word, and then there'll be signs following, because it is the real word. It is the real gospel. And I submit this to you, my Heavenly Father, for you to do. And if you're not going to do this because you're going to give us the material, then make me aware of that. And I submit this to you as a prayer, my Heavenly Father, B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, and you believers should agree with it. I don't believe that it's going to be just with here's a manuscript, because the manuscript would be, if John had it, it would be in Hebrew. And we could bring it into English from Hebrew, and then we'd have to bring it into a lot of other languages from Hebrew. So that's a big job there, right? Okay. So it's going to be resources. Um, so remember, if anybody is going to go for the book of the Codex Vaticanus, Sinaticus, and send it to me, it would be grateful. And it's $999 from Hendrickson, and then you have to add approximately 1.18. So in other words, you times it by 1.18. It's an 18% VAT tax on an import, but they have brokerage fees and stuff that would probably increase it by 2%. The fact that it's $1 under uh, $1,000 makes it tremendously easier to import. If you import something at $1,000, you get into a whole different scenario. This is much easier, so it would go simpler. Okay. And so you probably got about 200 in shipping with insurance and everything, because you can't use the post office. It's just too unreliable. And if you mail it, it could come in 10 days, and it could also come Thanksgiving or Christmas. You don't know. Israeli post office is not good at all. It's not a good deal. So you need to use UPS, DHL, or FedEx. That's the only way to do it reliably. And that would be it. So that makes it easy when I'm preparing. I just open the pages to the chapter, and then I go click. Then we open the other page, click, and then I feed them in, get the translations, get them ready in my notes, talk about during the day. I by no means can translate the Bible by myself. It's just too much work. You know, if I try it, I'm going to be trying to do something I'm going to fail at miserably. So I can't do it. If I do it, I'm going to still do the broadcast. Remember that I think you need a good sized staff to do this. So I don't have to be there every minute. I could teach people how to get the material into AI and then collect the translation from AI and stage it, and then we have to review it. And sometimes we'll have to ask for clarification to make sure we understand. Okay, so we're on the cusp of this. We're going, we're moving, it's working, we'll get it done. The other nice thing that having the Codex Sinaticus is you've got a copy of it without going online, and then to back it up in case everything falls apart with the internet, which could happen. We'd have to buy about 4 or 5, 6 books to translate. Uh, you'd have to get several old works of books. They're probably not that much money. There's probably reprints around. So you'd have to tediously do it. I did study Greek, 40 years ago for a while. It's not that hard. To use these books to translate, you just need to understand the Greek alphabet pretty much. And you could take the word and run the words. Now, that again is a very tedious job. but it would require more people. But if the internet was down, that would, and there was no electronics, then you could run that way. I do have a solar method to charge the iPad and the phones, so I could make that work. With solar, I doubt the sun will be gone. Best thing to do would be to get this thing done before, while we still have internet and phones, get it done, and then we get it printed, even if we just print it on, buy like a $600-800 printer that goes boom, 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 right? And just, send it, 50 or 100 pages at a time, and we just compile it in a binder, and we make several copies of it just on regular copy paper. I mean, that's one way to go. Then if time allows, still we could send that to a book binder and have it put in a book form. You don't necessarily have to go get it put in a leather Bible format. Just put it in a very sturdy book. You could actually print them in softback books like this. That would be much cheaper, and just print a whole lot of them. Remember, we're giving them away, so we're not going to be going around. I don't see us with the leather binding and stuff. I don't think we're going to go that route. The digital is nice as long as you got an internet. But if you don't got an internet, you don't have electricity, you don't have much. It would sure be good to wake the world up to what the Bible's really saying. Be a good work. It's a big job, but this is historical, See, God punished Israel from 70 AD for 2,000 years. It's in Hosea 6:1 and 2. And he kept a small remnant, a real small remnant. The rest of them had their eyes closed and their ears stopped up. They didn't come to faith. During that period, why would he have a good copy of the Bible? He stopped up their eyes and their ears, lest they turn to him, get saved, and get out from under the punishment. Do you understand? And then why would we see Revelation, 14:6? I'll go there. And I saw another Malach messenger fly in the midst of heavens, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every heathen and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the mountains of, and and the mountains and the fountains of water. Sorry, verse 8. And there followed another angel, or Moloch, it would be, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying in a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his mark and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the So the timing of this is before the destruction of the daughter of Babylon, and after the destruction of the daughter of Babylon, about 70 years, I reckon, you have the beast and the great day of the Lord, Gog and Magog, Ezekiel 38, 39. So the timing is just right for this right now. But I don't imagine an angel's going to be flying around the world and just say, hey, worship God, and, you need the everlasting gospel. The people, faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word. You got to preach the word to them. How are you going to preach the word if you got junky translations that are erroneous on purpose? They're tainted works. They're satanic works. They're twisted. They got a lot of truth in them, for sure, much truth. But God can't certify that with signs following, because it's tainted on purpose. It's twisted. It's messed up. He can't endorse it. It's not his word. Yeshua is the word made flesh. It's not Yeshua. Remember, they have another Jesus and they have another gospel. What is the gospel? Yeshua is the word made flesh. And they have another Yeshua, so they have another gospel. It's the same thing, having another Yeshua and another gospel. Do you understand? Because Yeshua is the word made flesh. You got that? So how are we going to, if we need the signs and wonders so the people are going to understand we're the ones to listen to, not the S-bots that are going to feebly try to make another Bible and with more twists and turns and errors and traps and all that. And they're going to try to do that. And, we got to work against it, Well, they'll just try to use the King James or something. You got to work against it. Think about it. King James is a king. He was an S-bot. He's not going to give you the real McCoy's translation. Zondervan, Tyndale, Hendrickson, even all the publishing houses for churchianity aren't going to publish a real work. They'll publish the real Codex Sinaticus, and what do they care? Who's going to read it? 1/50,000th of 1% of the people that go to church. The only people that are going to read it are the ones that go to the seminaries that took Greek. The seminarians take a Greek course, which is superficial ridicule. It's ridiculous. The ones that take 3 or 4 Greek courses could actually read the Greek. Or you could find a secular source to teach you Greek, a language school, or get books, and you don't need them, but it's not that simple. But if you've got old, like 1,000-year-old, 800-year-old language things that you get a reprint of that teaches you how to translate, and you could read the Greek alphabet and the letters. You could translate, but the work, if it's a translating work for Greek, it's probably written in Greek. So you need the AI, or you need a whole army of people, which could be done. It was done in times past. So I don't know what the Lord has in mind. So pray that the Lord reveal to me what to do, what He's going to do. Please pray for that. So I don't chase my tail and I go in the right direction, okay? There's something I want to tell you, but I shouldn't tell you. So I'm not going to tell you because I think we're so close. We're so close. But this has got to take some time, but we'll have a lot of fun. Once this thing is made, who's going to run around with this but the people that know the true gospel, which is who? You guys. You guys. That's who. All right. My Heavenly Father, Jehovah, B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach. I mean, it can't be just Elijah and Enoch. First of all, let's get through this. Elijah is going to be in Jerusalem working with the Levites, cleaning them up, and they're going to make the offerings acceptable unto the Lord, and then the Lord's going to bless Israel for that, right? So who is the Malach running around with the gospel around the world but Enoch? Or Apostle John is a possibility too. But we don't read of Enoch there with Elijah in Malachi. We don't read of Apostle John. But he sent them out 2 by 2. Maybe Apostle John and Enoch go out. But it's just reading of one Malach. So maybe it's Enoch, or maybe it's Apostle John, and maybe Enoch's doing something else. The 2 candlesticks, okay? Well, the 2 olive trees is better. There's not 2 candlesticks. There's 1 candelabra with 7 things that burn, candlesticks, if you will. But let's go to the olive trees. 1 olive tree is the 10 tribes, and that would be the one with Enoch. And the other olive tree would be the 2 tribes, Judah and Levi, and that would be the one with Elijah, the Tishbite. And remember, we found this out yesterday. The Lord showed me to teach this, which means He showed it to me, and then I was also supposed to teach it. That it says Elijah the Tishbite will come and see. With John the Baptist, Yeshua said, "This is Elijah if you'll receive it." He had the spirit of Elijah. But Elisha, the guy who Elijah threw the mantle down, got a double portion of Elijah's spirit. He also had Elijah's spirit. So when the Lord says Elijah the Tishbite, that's so you know it's Elijah or Elijah. It's not somebody with the spirit of Elijah, it's the Elijah. Remember, he was on earth and he didn't die, so he has to die. And Enoch was in the same boat. He was on earth and never died, so he has to die as well. So you've got to remember that stuff. Hold on a second. Oh, this stupid thing. Hold on. If you tap instead of press, it goes an error here. Okay. All right. Let's pray. My Heavenly Father, Jehovah, I pray for me, my wife, and all the true believers and their households, that we would have your strength, stamina, and endurance from you, we would have your healing and recuperative power flow through us, so it would be healing everything in our bodies that needs healing. And I pray that for us, our animals and pets, we would be safe and secure, all of us, and happy, healthy, and whole. I pray for the peace of Jerusalem. I pray that if any of us are looking for work, or we need clients or customers for our business, that we find them and that they come to us, okay? And I pray that we all have adequate money, and then some extra. And I pray we all that need healing get healing from you, my Heavenly Father, Jehovah. And I pray that we all learn the scriptures better, and we get good, pure, clean Old and New Testament to work with. However you want to get us equipped that way, I pray you do. And I'm ready and willing to do the work on this if you want to equip me with what I need to do it, or explain to me how to do it in a way I don't understand, but you could explain it to me, that I'm not aware of, that you could illustrate to me if that's where you want to go with this. And I pray we have more wisdom and more faith. And I pray all this to you, my Heavenly Father, for me and my wife and all the true believers in the households. B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach. Now I pray for me and my wife and all the true believers, their households, and their families. If there's any witchcraft or sorcery directed at, directly or indirectly, designed to affect any of us or these people, that this witchcraft and sorcery is null and void forever. It shall never come back, the same witchcraft and sorcery or anything close to it, from any unclean spirit. It's all null and void forever. B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach. And if any, regarding me and my wife and the true believers and all the families and household, if any of these people have an unclean spirit, the unclean spirit is thrown out of them immediately, never to return again. B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach. And I'm a little wiped out because I started about 4:30 this morning. So I send my shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach, and please remember we're supported by offerings, and I'm out. Thank you.